Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into what is arguably the single most powerful financial principle you can ever learn to completely transform your wealth over time. If you've ever wondered what actually separates those who build lasting generational wealth from everyone else, it almost always comes down to understanding the core mechanics of how money grows. We're going to look really closely at the data today and see exactly what happens when you make a fundamental shift in your financial strategy.
So let's kick things off with the ultimate financial question. Would you rather work hard for your money or have your money work hard for you? I mean, it sounds like a total no-brainer, right? But making that second option a reality requires a really deep understanding of a very specific mechanism. We are focusing today on exactly what compounding is, because understanding compounding empowers you with that very choice. It literally allows you to step back and let your money do all the heavy lifting.
All right, let's get right into it with Section 1, Simple versus Compound Interest.
To really wrap our heads around what compounding actually is, we kind of need to strip away the jargon and look at its static cousin first, simple interest. Simple interest basically means you are only ever earning a return on the original money you put in, which is called your principal, and absolutely nothing more. It doesn't matter how much time passes or how much interest you accrue, that baseline, it never changes. Let's break this down. Say you invest $1,000 at a 5% simple interest rate. Year 1, you earn $50. Year 2, another $50. Year 3, yep, you guessed it, just $50. It stays completely constant over time. It's a flat, linear path that just never accelerates, no matter how long you wait. Now, what is compounding exactly? Well, compound interest is a whole different ballgame. As the name implies, it's built on this brilliant idea of earning interest on interest. Think of it like a tiny snowball rolling down a massive hill, just gathering more and more momentum. This happens when you reinvest your interest earnings to make even more money. Instead of just earning cash on your starting amount, your interest is added directly to your principal. That means your baseline is actually growing every single year. You are earning a return on a perpetually increasing amount of money. Let's run the exact same math, but apply compound interest to that $1,000 at 5%. Year 1, you still get that baseline $50. But here is the absolute game changer. That $50 gets baked right into your principal. So in year 2, you're earning 5% on $1,050, which gives you an extra $52.50. By year 3, your interest payment grows again to over $55. Your money is quite literally making you more money. If we look over just a short 5-year window, compounding actually earns you an extra $26.28 compared to simple interest. Now, I know what you're thinking. $26 isn't exactly buying you a yacht, right? But think about the percentage. That is 10.5% more money generated without you lifting a single finger. And this is just the very beginning of an exponential curve. As long as you reinvest, this passive income machine is only going to spend faster and faster. Let's take this up a notch. Moving on to Section 2, Saving versus Investing. We're going to do a fun little thought experiment here to compare the reality of just hoarding your cash in a physical safe versus actually investing it to unleash the full power of compounding. Imagine you decide to set aside just the equivalent of $1 a day. That's $365 a year. You take that cash and you stash it safely away in a locked safe where it absolutely can't be touched. If you just stash that cash in a safe, you get out exactly what you put in. So, $365 after year 1, $730 after year 2, and $995 by year 3. Sure, it's growing, but literally only because of your own physical manual effort. If you diligently keep up this exact same routine for 40 long years, you're eventually going to wind up with exactly $14,600. And hey, saving is absolutely crucial. Having 14 grand is way better than having zero. But true wealth? That cannot be achieved without the magic of compound interest. Let's see what happens when we introduce this variable. So, what if, instead of a dusty old safe, you regularly invested that exact same $365 a year into something with a solid rate of return? Let's use the stock market as our example, specifically an index fund tracking the S&P 500. If we look at the historical data going way back to the 19th century, the S&P 500 has averaged about a 10% annual return. Because of compounding, your whole trajectory completely flips. The acceleration is crazy. You're looking at $396 after year 1, which jumps to $832 by year 2, and over $1,300 by year 3. The gap between your out-of-pocket cash and your actual wealth is already starting to noticeably widen. And here is where the long-term payoff absolutely blows your mind. By just letting that interest compound exponentially upon itself for 40 years, your shares of the index could potentially explode to a staggering $177,710, literally from that exact same out-of-pocket contribution of just $1 a day.
When you put these two strategies side by side, the contrast is honestly staggering. On one hand, you've got $14,600 that just sat idly in a safe for 4 decades. On the other, an incredible $177,710. It took the exact same manual effort of setting aside $1 a day, but one strategy forces you to work for the money, while the other puts the money to work for you.
All right, let's wrap this all up in Section 3, Building True Wealth.
As you start increasing your investments beyond just $1 a day, your portfolio doesn't just grow in a straight line, it skyrockets exponentially. But to actually pull this off, you have to remember a few key things. The power of compounding absolutely requires a long-term outlook. It demands patience. But if you give it the time it needs, it's the ultimate tool to amplify your wealth trajectory, help you properly prepare for whatever financial needs pop up in the future, and just drastically improve your overall lifestyle. It is, without a doubt, the core financial principle for building wealth over time. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, absolutely crucial question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own finances. Is your hard-earned money just sitting idly in a basic account, essentially locked in a safe? Or are you finally putting it to work to compound for your future? The math doesn't lie, and it shows us exactly how powerful that choice can be. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you let your money do the heavy lifting from here on out.